I'm Derek Joyce and I'm here with Paul O'Murda, and this is I'm Not the Expert But. This is a podcast where we talk about everything from South Park, which we know nothing about, to quantum physics, which we also know nothing about. So grab a cup of tea, sit back and join us. I was talking to my nephew last night and he was talking to me about fairy tale, and he's old enough not to need a fairy tale.
I was just going to say that. How old's your nephew?
Yeah, no, he's 9.
Oh, okay.
But
so.
he's old enough to have an opinion on fairy tales.
Okay, fair enough.
And
yeah. Right.
He was telling me
He was telling you that
fairy tales in history weren't always and they live happily ever after.
Oh, yeah.
And
so it's more they all died horribly.
No, it's
not always.
He's right. Fairy tales were warnings. Fairy tales were, don't go into the dark fucking woods.
Morality tales.
Don't go into the dark woods. Yeah. Don't go in there to that dangerous looking place.
Yeah.
There's wolves in there. There's
a mad owl with a gingerbread house.
Things that can kill you in there. Yeah. But they were all metaphors.
Yes.
And it was respect your parents. Yeah. And it was don't go off with strangers.
Yeah, so kind of morality plays. Yeah.
The way your ma would say, there was a whole, and I'm sure it's very relevant still, probably more than ever, but stranger danger.
Yeah.
This was their stranger danger of the dark
medieval,
ages.
Middle Ages, dark ages.
Yeah, the Middle Ages. So they weren't always the happy shite that Disney came up with. Like when it was fucking, what's their names? The brothers Grimm.
Grimm.
Yeah. When it was them, it was dark shit.
Yeah.
And
didn't they make a TV series literally called Grimm?
I remember something.
And that's exactly what it is. It's that kind of dark version of.
Was that the thing that Spike Milligan narrated?
I don't know. I never
Maybe
watched.
Not.
No.
Maybe
This was
not.
more. It was more like fucking Twilight, the TV show. Like it was that kind of teenage audience.
No, I don't. I remember one Spike. It was animated. Spike Milligan narrated, and it was a Red Riding Hood episode.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah, that was very funny.
Was that not the Roald Dahl version?
I don't know.
Sure?
I don't know. But it was Spike Milligan.
Revolting Rhymes or whatever it was, Roald Dahl, where he took all those.
And it was a twist on fairy tales.
I'll always remember that from fucking Riding Hood. Fucking Roald Dahl's version. What was it? A nostril flares and eyelid flickers. She whips a pistol from her knickers.
Yeah. That sounds like something Spike Milligan would say.
Yeah.
But yeah, so fairy tales weren't all that fucking happy and they lived happily ever after.
No.
Very, very rarely.
They all got eaten up by the big bad wolf.
They were dark and foreboding and gory. And more than all of that, they were warnings. As we said, don't fucking go over there. Don't fucking Bernie, don't touch you.
Don't go off with that old lady. She'll put you in the oven.
But it was.
I always found Hansel and Gretel to be a particularly creepy one. It used to freak me out when I was a kid.
I was actually thinking about that while I was looking at this. After my nephew had sent it to me, and I don't know what the morality tale was in Hansel and Gretel.
Well, don't go off with strangers.
But they didn't.
No, they kind of happened across, or didn't they?
No, they were brought to the woods.
Yeah.
By their parents.
And abandoned.
Because they couldn't feed them and they were abandoned. Isn't that right? And they walked through the woods and they were starving and they found this candy cottage thing.
Yeah.
And they were fucking eating the load-bearing walls and all that kind of shit. And there was a witch inside.
Yeah.
And
where does the breadcrumbs come in?
Isn't that how they
found their way back?
It was a trail of breadcrumbs, but it got eaten by the birds.
Yeah.
And they were lost. I don't know. I don't know. But I don't know what the warning was in there.
Yeah.
Because
don't go into strangers' houses. Or don't eat strangers' houses.
Don't get lost in the woods.
Don't get lost in the woods.
But they weren't. They were deliberately losted.
Yeah, they were abandoned in the woods.
So I don't know what the fucking...
Dark. Very fucking dark. And there's quite a bit of that kind of parental abuse in the fairy tales, isn't there?
There's an awful lot of abuse.
Yeah.
There's an awful lot.
The evil stepmother makes a fairly fucking regular appearance, isn't it?
It's easy to lay all the blame on
the evil stepmother.
And not maternal parent.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or somebody dissociated. Like what was the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Yeah. The evil stepmother.
To be killed by the she was the most beautiful thing in all creation, and the evil queen, I think it was,
Yeah, she was the evil.
wanted
The evil stepmother was jealous.
wanted
wasn't
her killed, and got an axeman who was dissociated completely from the situation
it? Yeah.
to kill her
And
in
bring
the
her
woods
heart out.
and bring her heart.
Like,
So, but you
grotesque.
see, the fucking thing is, the evil stepmother queen, whatever the fuck she was,
Maleficent.
said to the axeman, "Bring her heart back to me," so she could eat it. Like,
Lovely.
Disney took all this shit out.
I didn't
but
know the heart was to be eaten. I thought it was
she
just
wanted to
as
fucking
proof that it
eat
was
it.
done.
Yeah, but she wanted to eat it.
Lovely.
In one of the versions I read,
Yeah.
she wanted to eat it, and I'm not sure if it's one of the versions that
Yeah.
I'll cover now.
Yeah. Now, was that Grimm or was that Hans Christian Andersen?
I don't know. It seems like Graham was Adidas and Hans Christian Andersen was high tech, you know. So it was
low tech,
outdoing the one, outdoing the other kind of thing. Yeah. But yeah, either of them. But it doesn't matter who collected the fairy tale or who wrote the fairy tale. They all had the same kind of lesson,
morality lesson.
you know, the same lesson to learn, the same tale, that kind of thing. Fucking Sleeping Beauty. That's fucking horrific.
Yeah, just go around, randomly go around kissing dead people.
That's not what it is.
Or sleeping people, even at that.
Sleeping Beauty. Now, what's your memory of it?
Is that the one with the spinning wheel and she pricks her finger and falls into a sleep for 100 years or something?
Yes.
And then she has to be woken up by a prince kissing her without her consent while she's asleep. Would that
the
be
original story is so much worse.
Oh my God.
It's fucking awful.
Okay, go.
And it's probably the worst. Out of all them that I looked up, it's probably the worst.
Okay, go with it.
It's the story of a fair maiden / princess, and she's under a 100-year sleep spell. But I read there was 13 wise old women in this kingdom. Right? And Sleeping Beauty was born. The celebration was there's going to be a massive banquet in her honor.
Right.
I think. I'm going off the top of my head now, right?
No worries.
To honor her birth. And there were only 12 golden plates.
So
there were only 12 of the 13 wise women that were invited.
Right.
Now, fuck knows why they didn't just get an
another
ordinary plate and say, listen, I'm really sorry about this, but you're more than welcome, and kind of mend fences as you get through, right? She wasn't
invited. They just excluded her.
They just excluded her, right? And when she found out about it,
she got pissed off.
She came to the banquet and she was fucking irate. She was, fuck yous, fuck this shit, fuck everything. Here's the course. She, on X birthday, is going to prick her finger. And when she does, she's going to fall into a deep sleep for 100 years. So, at least it was only for 100 years and not for 1,000,000 or anything like that. It's for 100 years. So the king decreed that all sharp objects should be taken out of the kingdom.
That's right.
So it can't happen, right?
Yeah.
And then one day she found herself, she was out walking the kingdom or whatever it was. She was in the castle and she looked up this tall tower and there was somebody up there. There was a light from one of the rooms and she was like, what the fuck is this? So she went up and she wound her way upstairs and there was an old lady on a loom spinning. She was like, what's that? Because she'd never seen it because they'd all been taken out of circulation.
Yeah.
And she goes, that's a loom that I do my loom shit on. Or whatever it was. The spinning wheel. Yeah. And she pricked her finger on the needle and she fell into a deep sleep. Yeah. She fell backwards into a deep sleep. Now, fortunately, there was a bed right behind her. And she fell so squarely onto it that she just throw a cover over and she's asleep for 100 years, right? So that's it. But all the kingdom fell asleep.
Oh.
Right, so they all fell asleep. And we know the story, the Disney version is the handsome prince comes along and he beats his way through the briars and chops his way through and there's a dragon that I think Disney threw in.
Okay.
But
loads more dragons.
Of princes had tried to chop the way through the briars before
make it, right?
Prince Charming.
Yeah.
And had impaled themselves on the briars and died.
And all their bodies were there. Like
so, in various degrees of decomposition, all the fucking, So, and the more food that you give this briar patch, the better it gets.
Right, yeah.
So he chops his way through.
Things you don't see in Disney.
He chops his way through. And he finds the tower and goes up to the top. It finds the Sleeping Beauty in the bed and gives her a kiss. And she wakes up and the whole kingdom wakes up and they live happily ever after.
Oh,
That's the story we know.
That's the Disney version.
That is not the fucking story I read.
Okay, let's go.
Okay. It was a king passing on his horse past this old broken down castle that everyone for generations is saying, yeah, it's fucking dead. There was a curse on that, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Right? He went in and investigated. He came upon the tower that fucking Sleeping Beauty's in and climbed the stairs all the way to the top. And he went in and he didn't kiss Sleeping Beauty.
I think I know what you're going to say.
He raped her.
Yeah, I was waiting for that one.
He raped
Lovely.
her. She didn't wake.
Okay.
Which, maybe they were using some variety of Rohypnol. Right? But she didn't wake. She only woke after she gave birth to twins and they were breastfeeding. She woke up and there were 2 infants.
Okay.
Breastfeeding off her. And she said, what the fuck?
Jesus Christ.
Right? Fucking breastfeeding after being raped.
See why Disney and the children's books changed that story to hell indeed.
There's more.
Okay.
The queen, the king's wife,
found out,
heard about his transgressions and he's having a bit in the side and she's after having twins, concocted a plan to kill the twins and feed them to the king.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Fuck me. And these are children's stories.
No, they were warnings.
Yeah, but they were made for children.
Yes, This was it. Her plan was scuppered. She was found out. The king and queen separated, as you would. And the king lived happily ever after with Sleeping Beauty.
Oh, yeah, fucking the woman he raped and impregnated.
The woman he raped in his sleep and had twins without her consent. And they lived happily ever after.
Lovely.
Isn't that fucking nuts?
Yep.
And I'm sure there's loads of versions of the fucking thing.
Yeah, well, that's a particularly patriarchal version.
Fucking hell. Yeah. It's seriously, no pun intended, a fucking rabbit hole.
Oh, yeah. Definitely, sounds like it, man. Absolutely.
It's Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I kind of knew where you were going with that. As soon as you kind of said, king, and I was like, he's gonna fucking rape her, isn't he? That's where this is going.
Did you have any idea the queen was going to try and kill the kids
and eat the kids? No,
and feed them to the fucking king?
No.
Jesus Christ. And then at the end of it, they live happily ever after.
Yeah.
And I said in a previous episode, and I can't remember which one it was, that it seems to me like he was sitting over his parchment, having written this story, not finished, with the quill in the fucking ink thing, the inkwell, and going, how the fuck am I going to finish this? Scratch. The queen and the king separated, and then the king lived happily ever after with Sleeping Beauty. The end. And finished it.
Yeah, I thought that was completely
with nowhere
acceptable.
To go. It's fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah,
absolutely. And it's
weird.
Totally, it's a patriarchy, all right.
It is totally patriarchal, yeah.
Jesus Christ. It's so fucking weird.
Yeah.
Fucking Pinocchio. You've told me about Pinocchio in the past.
Yeah.
He was a little piece of shit.
Oh, he was, yeah. Horrible fucker.
Can't say that. He was a little shit.
Horrible fucker.
We can all, I can just say, play the Disney version in your head.
The donkey.
And people, and anybody listening to this will.
Yeah.
And you'll just go, yeah, I know what happened. That's actually not too dissimilar. Disney went very dark when they were retelling that story. I don't know, because it wasn't there, if they read the story and went, this isn't too bad with a couple of changes. We can pull this off.
Yeah.
Or if they looked at it and read it and went, well, I don't know what the fuck to do. Let's just go with it. But don't do that bit.
Yeah. It's actually funny enough as well, just before you delve into the kind of dark side of Pinocchio. Did you know AI, the Steven Spielberg movie, AI?
Yeah.
It's also based on Pinocchio. It's the android child wanting to be human. It's the same.
It's the same story.
It is, yeah. It's basically the same idea. And then he meets the bad robot.
Bad influences.
Yeah, the bad influences, the robot killers, the blah, blah,
Yeah.
And
I never saw
it.
It
gets led astray. It's a movie I think I've seen once, maybe twice. It's so fucking depressing. It's
No, I
just,
haven't seen it.
it's
Is that
so
Haley
depressing.
Joel Osment?
It is. He's
Yeah.
fantastic in it now, in
Yeah,
fairness. But
he
it's
was always
it's
good.
a really tough watch. Like, it's heartbreaking. It is heartbreaking, but it's just very depressing. Which is unusual for Spielberg, you know?
Unusual for Spielberg.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Schindler's List, Spielberg.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
all right.
okay,
Okay, fair enough. That's
Right.
yeah, but that's history. That's different. It's hard to do the Holocaust and not make it the present now. Look at E.T., look at Indiana Jones, look at the Goonies I'm in.
Yeah,
AI
I know.
is a very different
Look,
tone
War of
to
the Worlds.
those. Yeah. It's a very
Yeah.
different tone to those movies,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. No,
But yeah,
I know what you mean.
it's in a
I
similar
do know what
genre,
you
you
mean.
know.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, no, it's a movie I don't know, I just find it really fucking uncomfortable.
The original of Pinocchio is written by a guy called Carl Collodi,
Okay.
and he was Italian.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah,
guy,
well, that stands to reason.
the
yeah,
guy
yeah.
who wrote Sleeping Beauty was also Italian,
Oh, okay. No, didn't know that.
and
Like,
his name is
so any Italian listeners, you some dark motherfuckers.
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
And
That's a
maybe
really
he's not
unusual
Italian.
name, isn't it? Doesn't sound very Italian, though.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe
Wonder what the I stands for.
Ignatius. Maybe.
Ignatius don't know.
Mm.
Yeah. So we don't know who wrote it, but anyway, yeah, he was Italian.
Yes, I do.
Oh, he found it now.
Giambattista Basile.
Giambattista Bastille doesn't sound very
Basile.
Italian. It sounds more Spanish.
Giambattista doesn't sound fucking.
Is that not more
Italian.
Spanish?
No.
Jean-Baptiste. French.
No.
French. Jean-Baptiste.
No, he's an Italian storyteller.
Okay, no worries.
So
okay.
yeah, so he wrote that, and Carcalotti wrote Pinocchio. Carcalotti, I think it was what did they call it when you write under a nom de plume thing?
Pseudonym.
Nom de plume.
Nom de plume or pseudonym.
And he was Carl Lorenzini, so he didn't make much of a difference.
No.
So I don't know why he did, but he did. Anyway, in the real Pinocchio, in the original Pinocchio, Pinocchio wasn't mischievous. He was a little shit.
Right, okay.
He was a little fucker.
Little bollocks.
And he was a vicious little shit.
An evil demon. Possessed.
Jiminy Cricket was also in the original, but he was... I didn't know... I can't remember in the film if he was Geppetto's friend.
I can't remember. I always thought Jiminy Cricket was the Disney construct now.
Well, according to...
Well, he was the voice in your head, wasn't he? He was your conscience.
Yeah, he was moral.
Yeah.
He was your moral
He was your inner dialogue.
Yeah.
Your inner monologue, I should say.
But in the original, he was Geppetto's friend.
Oh, okay.
And he was killed very early in the original story.
Right, so so then Pinocchio has no conscience then, so he's an evil little shit. Is that what we're saying?
He's a fucking sociopath.
Yeah, well, that's what we're saying. Once you lose your conscience, once your conscience is being killed, that's
once you've got no inner fucking dialogue, no, don't do that.
Inner monologue, it's fucking...
Just fucking, have at it. Yeah.
The devil pushed the angel off the shoulder and off we go.
Totally fucked off with Jiminy Cricket's moralising.
Right.
Pinocchio, in the original story, throws a hammer at him, killing him outright. Pinocchio also didn't show a hint of fucking remorse at killing his dad's best friend. In the original story, Jiminy Cricket was Geppetto's best friend. Yeah,
I like that. It's the whole kind of, your father teaches you your conscience, that like it's his best friend. It's actually it's his father's teachings. Yeah. I like that. That's kind of cool.
I don't like the fact he fucking threw.
No, I don't like the fact that he killed him. But I'm saying I like that.
Little bastard.
I like that metaphor that your conscience is your father's friend. I like that. That's that's interesting.
But so at one stage, without a conscience, Pinocchio runs away for some reason.
Yeah.
And falls asleep near a fire. I assume to keep warm.
Yeah.
The way wooden children need to keep warm.
That's in the Disney movie. Yeah, he puts his feet up to the fire and then he catches
fire. Is
fire.
that in the Disney movie?
Yeah, he catches fire. His feet catch fire.
His feet catch fire in the original story.
Yeah.
What happens in the Disney movie? After his feet.
I can't remember. I just remember that scene where he's fucking jumping around the place with his feet on fire. Definitely.
Oh, I remember. That's vaguely familiar now. But they don't burn off.
No, there's a bucket of water or something.
Or something. But and I think it's probably Jiminy Cricket throws the water over him or something.
Possibly, yeah.
And he ends up soaked. But Jiminy Cricket is dead in the original story, so nobody's there to throw bucket of water over his burning feet. So his feet burn off.
Right, okay.
Burn to ash. Geppetto repairs the feet after Pinocchio killing his best friend. Geppetto still repairs his feet.
Because he's his dad, yeah.
And Pinocchio grows to love his dad.
Yeah.
You did something for me. I guess I love you now.
Yeah. So it's
He's
transactional
silly little
love.
shit.
Yeah.
Only
yeah.
then he
Yeah.
starts to love his dad.
Yeah.
It's like the person that's
Transactional.
looked after him. Yeah, it's transactional. Yeah,
Yeah.
you little fucker.
Yeah. Love it. Love it. No, don't love it. It's horrible.
In the original Collodi version, Pinocchio steals some gold coins and gets hung for his crimes.
Fuck me.
Isn't that nuts?
How do you hang a wooden puppet? And in the original, like,
he's still alive.
Yeah, well, he is. Like,
you know, he's not a real kid,
know,
but he's alive.
Yeah, but he doesn't breathe. I don't know. In the original, like, does he want to become a real child? Is that the?
I don't know.
Right, because that is the whole overarching thing in the Disney version,
that was the moral dilemma.
Yeah,
that was his goal to attain. I don't know if psychopath Pinocchio had that goal.
Yeah.
If
to be a real boy,
it was just maybe it was just fucking mayhem and chaos.
Yeah. There was a new version of Pinocchio recently as well, wasn't there? Was it Netflix or something made it? I don't know.
I didn't
watch it anyway.
I don't think it was Netflix. I think who's the guy that did Pan's Labyrinth?
Oh, okay. Spanish guy.
Mm-hmm.
Guillermo
del Toro. Yeah, that's him. Yeah. I think he had something to do with it. Yes. I haven't seen it though.
No, that sounds very familiar.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I didn't like the character, and I don't.
I'm not a fan of Pinocchio. I've never been a fan of Pinocchio.
No, it's not that.
But
I didn't like Guillermo del Toro. I don't like his characters. Like, he's a great filmmaker.
I've never seen Pan's Labyrinth. I keep meaning to watch it, and I've
never
watched
disturbing.
It. Yeah,
I found it really disturbing. I really didn't like it.
Yeah,
and he did, and I know you didn't like it, but he did Hellboy 2.
Oh no, I didn't say I didn't like it. And actually, I really like Hellboy 2. It just used to put me asleep. It's a terrible movie, but it's one of the first major Hollywood movies that has the Irish language in it.
Yeah, but I still didn't like it.
So that was pretty cool.
No, I didn't like it.
It's a pretty shit film. I didn't.
But I don't like the characters in it because they're too small and fucking. Yeah, they just don't feel right to me.
Yeah. I did love Ron Perlman as Hellboy though. He was really good.
He's great. He's really class, and I enjoyed Hellboy, the first Hellboy.
Everything. It was actually years later I realised he was Vincent from Beauty and the Beast. Do you remember the fucking TV show back in the 80s? The fucking deformed guy looked a bit like a lion. Lived in the that was Ron Perlman.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
But so
and Sarah Connor from Terminator.
Pinocchio steals his gold coins.
Right, and gets hung
for his crimes. But Collodi's editors made him change the ending.
Ah, okay, so that was never published.
But they said, change the fucking ending to this or it doesn't run. So we changed it for something a little more appealing.
Right.
But they were totally okay with Pinocchio lumping a hammer at Jiminy Cricket and killing him.
Yeah.
No change necessary
an insect,
there.
That's fine.
It wasn't.
It was
a Disney insect. It was his fucking dad's best friend.
Yeah, sorry, yeah. Yeah, Disney made him into a cricket.
Yeah, so fucking...
That's nuts. So what was the end and how did it end?
I don't know.
Oh, you didn't bother?
I didn't bother finishing it.
He became a real boy and they all lived happily ever after.
Yes. If you're sitting there listening to this and you're going, what the fuck happened at the end? Just copy and paste the Disney ending into it.
Yeah, they all lived happily ever after.
That's what it was, yeah. And he's a real boy. Fucking bullshit. Little fucker.
He became flesh and blood, fell down the stairs and died horribly. The end.
Unbelievable. I mean, did they have stairs?
I'm sure they did. Medieval times, yeah, they had 2-story inns and shit, yeah.
Yeah. He wouldn't have been allowed in.
Sure, fucking, hang on, did they have stairs? Did they have stairs?
Didn't he get locked?
Sleeping Beauty was literally at the top of a fucking tower.
True. Yeah, I retract. Yeah, they had an elevator.
Yeah.
There's an escalator, so you didn't have to fucking move. Yeah, they're just
They had stairs. Stairs have been around for quite a while though.
Little Mermaid.
Yeah, that's a fucking dark fairy tale.
Jesus Christ.
That is dark. Even the fucking Disney version's quite dark, but that is a fucking dark fairy tale.
Wow.
Tell us about it, Dad.
It's fucking horrible.
Yeah. Oh, terrific. Yeah, you can have your legs, but you're going to lose your voice.
Okay, Hans Christian Andersen.
Yeah, so I do like him better than the Grimsons, I have to say.
I'm not saying I don't like either of them or I don't like
I think it's because I just had this giant, huge hardback of Hans Christian Andersen tales when I was a kid. And I love that book. Absolutely love that book. Whereas Grimm's a bit more grim, you know. Excuse the pun.
I've got no beef with either of them. And I'm not saying I don't like fairy tales. I'm not saying I don't like Disney fairy tales. I'm just saying they're so radically different
to the originals.
The ones that we know.
Yeah.
That I find it hilarious.
Yeah.
And disturbing. And if they're still making films loosely based on fairy tales. And in recent years, and I haven't seen them all, but they're a bit darker. You know, and I think them being a bit darker is not someone saying, let's darken this shit up.
Well, I think what Disney are doing now...
This candy-coated bollocks.
Yeah, but no, I hate what Disney are doing now with their live-action version of all their old classic animated films. And it's the same soundtrack and it's the same script. There's nothing, not a word of dialogue changed in it. It's just that it's live action.
My other nephew is after sending me a link to the trailer for the new live-action How to Train Your Dragon.
Oh, yeah. Live action?
Yeah.
Okay. I haven't seen any of those movies.
Incredible.
I haven't seen any of those.
How to Train Your Dragon. How to Train Your Dragon, you should watch.
Do you know what I seen this morning that they're filming in Glasgow?
What?
Literally today that I didn't even know was being made. A remake, but it's not even a remake as such, of The Running Man, but it's based on the Stephen King short story, not the 80s movie.
Yeah.
Which, basically took the name and changed everything fucking else. But so that'll be an interesting.
That was the 1980s for you, though, wasn't it?
Yeah. They literally kind of bought the rights, used the name, and changed the entire fucking story.
Yeah.
Bared no resemblance to the Stephen King short story. But so it'd be interesting to see what they do actually do with it.
I've never read the story.
No, neither have I. No. So it'd be very interesting to see what it's about or where it goes.
But yeah, Little Mermaid. In the original story, she still saves the prince from drowning. Which is the way the Disney one opens up.
Yeah.
His ship shipwrecks.
Yeah.
And he's drowning. She saves him.
Yeah.
I vaguely remember it, but he wakes up on the beach and she's out on a rock out in the water and she hides behind it and all that kind of thing. And she's totally fucking in love with him from...
Yeah. And he can't see the bottom half of her, obviously.
Isn't it? Yeah. He's kind of calling to her and... Yeah. She's not going there.
That, but she can't go on land.
So she goes to see the sea witch to get her land legs.
Yeah.
And she has to... What does she have to do?
She has to give up her voice, isn't it?
In the Disney film, she gives up her voice. Isn't that right?
Yeah. Is that not in the dark version? Pretty sure it is in the
version, and there's loads of versions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like any other historical book that you want to read. The version is that of
whoever
what everybody else has done,
is.
Plus your interpretation of it. You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, like the Bible. It's been translated that many different times.
Yeah, well, I didn't want to name drop books, but there you go. The witch says that the Little Mermaid, Ariel
in the Disney movie.
I don't know if she's that in the original, but we'll go with that.
Yeah.
Right. Said that she's going to die if she doesn't get a smooch from her true love ASAP.
Right.
In the movie, she can't go up. Obviously, she hasn't got a voice and say it, so she ends up combing her hair with a fork, and all hilarity ensues and all that kind of shit. Right? Don't know if that happens in the book.
Right.
But she's gonna die if she doesn't get a kiss off him. Long and short of it is, the prince marries someone else,
right,
and not the Little Mermaid.
Okay. This is in the original version. Okay.
So she's in the last chance saloon, right? The sea witch in the original story says to her, murder the prince and you'll get your fins back. Okay? Right, so she has to go and kill her true love. She can't.
Or die.
Yeah,
basically.
He dies or you die, you know?
Right.
But she can't. She's
too much
too nice, inverted commas, human being. Because now she's a human being, but what the fuck was she before that?
Yeah. But now she's mute.
She can't bring herself to do it. So she ends up as sea foam on the edge of the beach.
Ah, so she dies.
Nice.
Right.
So she dies.
And now she has a statue in Copenhagen. Which is gorgeous. It's a beautiful statue.
Yeah, it is. It's great.
I believe it's a lot smaller than you think it's going to be, though, when you see it. Like, a bit like the Mona Lisa as well. Like, if you see photographs of the Mona Lisa and then you see the actual Mona Lisa, it's fucking tiny.
Yeah, it is very small.
Yeah. And I believe the Little Mermaid is the same. It's quite a little small statue. I've never been to Copenhagen, so I don't.
What's the moral The morality tale of...
Careful what you wish for. Well, the Disney one is, it's very much be careful what you wish for.
But isn't the Disney one a happy ending?
In the end, it is. They marry, don't they? And she gets her voice back.
Fucking shoot for the stars, kids.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and happiness.
The original story.
And happiness comes from a good-looking guy.
The original
That's the moral
story.
of all of those.
The moral tale. The Little Mermaid is a warning against having aspirations. And staying in your lane.
And giving up who you are for somebody. Like, changing to...
Isn't that a fucking crazy tale?
I don't know. The whole idea of losing yourself.
The lesson to be learned
else.
here, kids, is stay in your fucking lane. Don't aspire. Don't aspire to something you're not. Stay in your lane. You're not the best in the world and you can't do anything. Stay in your fucking lane.
Is it though?
Yes, it is.
Is it not?
Yes, it is.
Don't give up yourself, who you are, to please somebody else. Like, she gives up being a mermaid to try and please this
No, she
guy.
doesn't. No, she doesn't. She gives up being a mermaid to meet the love of her life.
Yeah.
Who ends up marrying somebody else.
That's what I'm saying.
So she's given a last chance dance. Kill that fucker or you're going to die.
Yeah, and she doesn't.
And she says, I can't. Like, that's... If the moral tale is stay in your fucking lane.
And it is, but I also think it's, don't change who you are to suit someone else. It doesn't end well, Like, she fundamentally changes who she is. She's a mermaid. She becomes human to suit this guy. Like, the guy doesn't become a merman to suit her. She becomes a mermaid. She's the fucker that ends up dead. He's happily married. So she loses everything because she changed who she fundamentally was.
I can say, and that's a better lesson than the one I read.
From it. Yeah.
Well, I didn't take that from it. I just thought, oh, what the fuck was that? Even when I was a kid. But then they all lived happily ever after singing their way through dilemma after dilemma.
Yeah, the fucking Disney version,
that's all I saw.
Yeah, like the original is, fucking be true to thine own self. The Disney version is change, suit the handsome prince. You have to look pretty.
That was the tale of all of them.
Yeah.
Is be flexible.
Yeah.
Change to suit your surroundings kind
Plastic
of thing. And adapt.
Love Disney.
Yeah. I'd say they have them muraled all over the fucking walls. Yeah. The Frog Prince is the Brothers Grimm.
Yeah.
In the original story, the princess wasn't a fair maiden.
Okay.
She was another piece of shit.
Okay. Well, I definitely prefer the Disney version, and for no other reason than she was the first Disney princess of colour. Which
in the Disney version, yeah.
Well, unless I suppose you could include Pocahontas there, but not quite. Because she wasn't really a princess as such. Like, I don't know whether do we consider Pocahontas to be one of the Disney princesses?
It's not.
Oh, here's one for you. Is Princess Leia a Disney princess? Seems how Disney owns Star Wars now.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's not the we.
I digress.
It's not the we. It does everybody.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah.
Is Pocahontas considered a princess? Don't know.
There's an awful lot of racism.
An awful lot of racism in Pocahontas too. Let's not even go there.
Yeah.
And then Avatar is just Pocahontas in space anyway.
Yeah, but Avatar is garbage.
Yeah, I haven't seen Avatar 2 yet.
No, I've no intention of.
No.
So the Frog Prince, the Princess and the Frog Prince, is a spoiled little shit with a fucking temper.
I think she's not in the original. Well, yeah.
She's a sweet 16. Not that sweet 16 bullshit.
Yeah, not in the Disney movie, but in the ones I would have read as a child, yes.
Anything from a Disney movie is not going to appear
it's
in
not canon.
It's
not canon.
It's not going to appear in a fucking nursery rhyme. A fucking fairy tale.
Book. Yeah. They take the general gist and just do their own thing with it to make it 2 hours long, don't they? You'd be doing well to make a fairy tale.
Well, lads, this isn't going to last. How are we going to fucking pad this out?
Songs.
Get them to sing a song. Yeah. Music.
Songs, dances. Yeah.
So in the original, the frog was a prince under spell, the same.
Yeah.
As. Okay. The royal spoiler shit didn't kiss the prince. She hopped him off a fucking wall.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
It's not in the movie, is it? It's not in the Disney movie. She fucks
I haven't seen it.
she fucks him against the wall.
Does she fuck him off a wall? Okay.
Yeah, he has to keep coming back to convince her to kiss him. Like, yeah. It's not the whole story, like.
I don't know.
Well, yeah, she's
don't
pretty
know.
horrible to him, yeah.
I mean, that's what I mean. I don't know how you'd pad it out.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, well, there's a whole kind of subplot of her taking over a restaurant, or she owns
In
a
the
restaurant.
Disney thing.
Yeah,
Right, yeah.
she's trying to make a go with a small business. It's actually probably one of the better ones there. That, yeah, she's in fucking New Orleans. She's got a Jambala restaurant or whatever it's called. Is it?
Oh, right.
Fucking Gumbo or
Jambalaya or
Jambalaya
something.
fucking
Yeah.
restaurant, and she's trying to make a go of it. It's struggling, and that's the whole kind of subplot. And then the
Right.
frog is just, I don't know what
Yeah,
the fucking
no,
frog
I
even
don't
has to do
remember
with
that.
it, to be honest with you.
No, I didn't see it.
But like, you'd know I have kids.
But in the original book, it was the act of throwing him against the wall that broke the spell.
Ah, okay, no, that's not. That's
And
not who it
then
is.
she fell in love.
Yeah.
So she's a piece of shit, bounces him off a wall. He turns into a prince, and she goes, I better book my shit up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So lesson, children.
She calms it down.
Lesson, children. Kick the shit out of him till he's good looking.
If you find somebody that you're in love with, bash them.
No, bash them till they're good looking. If they're ugly, bash them till they're good looking.
Yeah.
Bait them, look.
Nuts, yeah.
Bait them good looking. Jesus Christ.
In another version, she had to let him sleep with her in the bed with her. Now, I don't know if they had to actually sleep with, inverted commas, have sex, but sleep with her in the bed.
How you sleep
and
with
when
a
they
frog,
woke up
though.
in the morning, he was a prince. And she did it reluctantly. So she's fucking disgusted, and it was like, ew. And they wake up, and it's a handsome prince, and they get it on.
And she's like, oh, that wasn't so bad.
They go, right.
Let's be having you.
Nuts. Fucking nuts.
And Beauty and the Beast as well. And I'm sure we're going to get onto that, are we? It's kind of a similar story, isn't it?
Nope. Okay. I didn't do Beauty and the
Beast. Did you not?
No, didn't look that up.
Like, that is, and even the Disney version, like, it's probably the most toxic of all of them. Like, I love Beauty and the Beast, right? I used to sit and watch that with my eldest daughter when she was only a baby. I fucking loved that. Love that movie. Love the music in it. Love Beauty and the Beast, right?
I don't
but if
like
you
music
think about it,
any of them. Except Jungle Book.
Some of the Disney stuff.
Jungle Book is my favourite.
Aladdin has a great soundtrack.
But
anyway, fucking, we're going way off topic. Beauty and the Beast is the most toxic of them all. He literally kidnaps her, imprisons her, tortures her, and she falls in love with him.
And that's more toxic than a king raping a sleeping woman who then has twins.
Well, okay,
and wakes up when they're breastfeeding.
No, but I mean, I'm saying even the Disney version. I'm saying,
but he doesn't. He doesn't kidnap her.
He does.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. The dad comes in a storm and takes refuge in the Beast's castle.
And he imprisons him.
And he says,
she swaps
you're in prison. And he goes, the first thing to meet you when you go home, you will send me to live with me. And he's like, okay, that'll be the dog. Because the dog is always fucking bouncing around. Right. He goes home and it's Sleeping Beauty. He's like, fuck. That's what happens. And so he has to go. She has to go and stay with the Beast.
That's even more toxic. So you have two men basically telling her that she has to be a prisoner. You have the Beast.
I'm sure the dad is reluctantly doing it.
Yeah, but he still does it.
But he's probably going to get killed. I'm not saying, I'm not condoning it.
Yeah, no,
it's bullshit.
Either way, anyway, she still
but the
becomes
deal
a prisoner.
has been struck.
Yeah, so she's she's in a...
Yeah, she's total prisoner.
You know, and he basically tortures her into loving him.
This is a tale of Stockholm Syndrome.
Yes, it's 100% is, yeah. Yeah, and fucking I mean, nuts. You know, and then the Beast is a fucking sympathetic character because he was turned into a beast by a...
No, he's not.
By a wicked old hag.
No, he's rage-induced. He's so fucking... Stay out of the fucking West Wing. Don't get down these stairs. And she creeps up one day and she finds the enchanted rose that has petals falling off it intermittently.
And if he doesn't fall in love
before the end, if he doesn't get someone to love him before the end, this is the Disney version.
Yeah, now that is the actual
old
version too.
No,
yeah, it's very similar.
I know nothing about it.
But it was a wicked old woman who, well, it was a sorceress who appeared to him as a wicked old woman, and he was really evil to her, and she put the spell on him.
But there's the tale.
Yeah.
You know, be kind to strangers.
And don't judge the book by a cover.
Fucking show them Brahan law.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
And I mean, but that is the whole gist of the Disney version anyway, is, you know, like, Belle loves books, she's a bookworm, blah, blah, blah. And the whole idea of that thing is don't judge a book by its cover.
Yeah.
Is the whole kind of message in it, you know. He's a lovely prince, really. The fucking sorceress who turned him into or the wicked old hag who turned him into a beast was really a beautiful sorceress. It's the whole thing of don't go on.
The wicked old hag was a beautiful sorceress.
She appeared to him as an old woman, as a test.
Oh,
as
right.
an old beggar woman.
Right.
And he was cruel to her and sent her away.
Okay.
So she turned him into a beast.
But she was
really a beautiful sorceress.
No.
Yeah. She just appeared as a wicked old hag, as a test to him,
That's very biblical, isn't
it? Yeah. It was a test of his morality and he failed.
Okay. Basically, the premise of the Disney version is the same as the original in Cinderella.
Right.
A young, beautiful girl is a slave to her evil cousin's auntie. Yeah. That kind of thing. Which was the same thing.
Evil stepmother, wasn't it? No. Well, yeah, stepmother.
Was it stepmother?
And stepsister.
Well,
yeah.
Well, it's the same premise.
Yeah, like her father married a woman with kids. And
it's the same premise.
Yeah.
So she's living with her evil cousins, and she's a slave to their needs and wants, and fucking do this, pick that shit up, blah 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 blah. There's a ball, and she's not going. You're not invited.
Yeah,
and the prince is thrown it. Yeah.
Because you're the skivvy to,
In the original story, she's praying at a tree where her ma is buried close by.
Mm-hmm.
Magically, she gets a dress. And if they need to explain it, they just say it's fucking magic. Right? So she gets a dress and she gets
isn't it the fairy godmother?
Wood.
Isn't it the fairy godmother that does all this? Or is that not in the original?
That's not the original.
So that's just invented by Disney?
Yeah. Okay. And weren't there three? There were three. And there were three primary colours. There was red, yellow, blue. And
the three fairy godmothers?
Yeah.
No, there's only one fairy godmother.
Nope.
There was...
There were three. There were three looking after, because they kept changing her dress to different colours.
Yeah, was it the handmaids?
No, they were fucking fairies. They flew around with little wings. And they
were little fairies. Yeah, and then there was the fairy godmother, is like the queen of the fairies. Like she had the fairies doing her bidding for her, if you know what I mean. She was a fat plump old thing with a cloak. Do you remember? And the way bippity boppity boo.
That's what Alakazam Magic.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Yeah, there were three of them. But anyway, she prays under a tree where her mother is buried, and she gets a dress with the same rules. You've got till midnight. If you're not in bed before midnight, come home.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah. If you're not, yeah, sorry, yeah.
If you're not in bed before midnight, come home.
Yeah.
In the search for Cinderella, conducted by the prince after she fucking legs it, because the clock has struck 12 or 1.
Yeah, she loses the glass slipper. And
yeah.
She's the only person in the whole world with that fucking shoe size.
Yeah, nobody else does. Yeah, it must be brutal going out and shopping.
I know, yeah.
One of her cousins cuts her toes off, so she fits the shoe. The other cousin cuts her heel off. Yeah. I mean, did they not even think about the other fucking shoe? What are you going to do when they... Oh, here, more toes. So they cut their toes off anyway. Fits into the shoe, covered in blood. Obviously, it's not you. Cuts her heel off, covered in blood. Obviously, it's not you. Okay? So then it fits Cinderella. And they live happily ever after. So again, it's don't be someone you're not, and treat people kindly and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, well, there is kind of a... Yeah.
In the original story...
no, it's not even that. It's more suffer the shit and you'll get your reward in the end.
Again, that's very biblical.
Yeah.
The meek shall inherit the earth.
Yeah,
when it's covered in
exactly
fucking people's heels and toes.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
And again, it's the whole idea that your happiness derives from a man.
Yeah.
A handsome man.
Yeah.
A rich, handsome man.
Yeah.
And we wonder why there's so many gold diggers now.
In the original story.
On these stories.
In the original story, the evil cousins who cut their toes and heels off, when their deceits are found out, I mean, how do you not notice somebody's fucking blood all over the place? But and their toes in various positions. Aren't they supposed to be attached to your feet? Anyway, when their deceits are found out, their eyes are pecked out by angry birds.
Lovely.
Yeah. And they all lived happily ever after, except for the raped Sleeping Beauty,
the hung
Pinocchio,
the deformed evil stepsisters,
the froth on the beach,
the frog that was smashed against the wall.
Yeah, the maimed cousins. But other than that, they all lived happily ever after. See you next time, lads.
Slán